Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice because I don't give advice. All right. Give us a like. Means a lot to me. Doesn't mean anything to you. Please, please, pretty please. Thanks. All right. Like, subscribe, notification bell, share it, tell your cousin, tell your parents, whoever. Anybody that wants to learn about this stuff, tell them and bring them. So the last time we were here, we looked at this shark. What are we on here? We're on the continuous ES. So, and we'll bounce around a little bit, but got this shark. I think if I recall correctly, we had a bat. Yeah, we had a bat that kind of played itself out here as well. So, and this bat played itself out. You know, this is really the high point that you want to see on a bat completion. So we got it roughly twice. You know, we kind of popped through. We got that type 2 reaction. And so here we are. So longer term, you know, we're looking for more of a retrace off of this if possible. But what we really want to try to get, if we can, is this 5-0 that we talked about before. It would really be nice to get that pullback down here and then either keep pulling down or, you know, get the 5-0 down here and give us the continuation back in the other direction. Previously, we had this head and shoulders workout. I think we talked about that. So if we could get the 5-0, that would be fantastic. If not, and we just kind of keep pulling down, you know, there is a deep crab that's kind of set up here, but that would be a pretty gnarly pull. That would take us down to like 3,600. So, I mean, you never say never, right? But, you know, and I mean, it kind of set itself up, but then we've kind of pushed back up above this 88.6. So we're kind of pushed up this double top. So I don't know, I'm not going to say it can't work out, but, you know, considering it's a little bit less likely. So what we would really want to start looking at this point would be, you know, maybe something along the lines of, and I haven't really looked at these very much. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, not a lot there. These patterns are a bit wonky that want to try to take us down. We didn't really get that far enough down. We came up and got this type 2 reaction. So yeah, I don't know. What we really need to start doing if we're going to see more downside, we need to start breaking down and break this low here. Right. So yeah, that's kind of what I would like to see us break right there. Let's see what we got here. Where does that line up where we stopped? Does that line up? Yeah, that lines up a little better. Huh? Oh, no, not quite. Okay. Yeah. All right. Not everything works out as planned. So, yeah, so what we want to try to find if we're going to have more downside, we want to see something work out to the downside to give us this 5-0 if we're going to get it. So that would bring us down, you know, we'll just call it roughly to, oh, let's change that. We would want to see something along the lines of this 40.24 down to 39.81. We could possibly get this thing as far as, oof. Well, let's go up here. Let's measure that up here. As far as maybe 39.62.25. Ooh, that's a steep move down, huh? All right. So, yeah, we could keep getting this. We got this kind of wonky, I keep using this term, but we got this kind of wonky head and shoulders. So I do tend to like head and shoulders patterns, you know, as wonky as they may be. I do kind of like to see this breakdown here. Now, that's a steep breakdown. But I do like to see when we push below the, you know, previous neckline here. Now, that's a gnarly pull. So, you know, a lot of times the harmonic patterns, you can actually even come back up to the body. But I do like to see that we tried to get through it. We got some rejection, which is kind of what you want in a head and shoulders, right? You want to get that, pull down, And let's see what we got here on that. See if that's it's not anything great, but I'm willing to bet you this right here is a 61.8 because it looks very, very 61.8-ish off of that reaction. Yeah, perfect. I mean, right on the nose, actually. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like the fact that this thing came down, it broke, and then we got that immediate reaction, right? And when we did, it kind of gave us this wick, went back up to this 61.8, and now we get this pull. It's kind of similar to how shark patterns work. That's why sometimes I do like to see these patterns inside of shark patterns. So, and we could say that technically, well, actually not technically, the opposite of technically, non-technically, there's a shark-esque type of pattern here, but we push to this 2. That's not really what you want to see. You don't really want to see that push above this 1618, right? And we did. We really just pushed above it there. And we came back here. We got stuck at that 1618. That's when we got that fall off, when we got that pull. We kind of got the final reaction off of that 1618, which is very interesting. So, it's, you want a shark to measure up properly. And, lately they haven't all been measuring out perfectly, but, it's not a perfect world either. So we'll say in the spirit of for now, see how it works itself out. And let's see where we've gotten down. So we technically, if we use this as the neckline, we technically broke it today. So let's call that a shark for now and see, just for grins, what we got here. Got a 78.6, which is a failed shark. Not too bad. So ideally, if this is going to finish itself out as a shark, we would call it, we want to see this 40.84. Let's see here. Let's do a little more measuring. Let's do this measurement here. Let's swap you over. Very interesting. It's very close. So we could actually get a gnarly reaction if we could get a good pull. Gonna need the pull, though. We're gonna need this thing to kind of finish out head and shoulders. We definitely want to see it. It might react off this 1618 here, 40.8575. The fact we're slowing down at the 786, and the way that I typically like to see these, if we're going to pull through this 1618, is we want to see a slowdown at 786, maybe even a little bit of rejection to try to get some energy to pull down through this 1618, which will get us through this 886, and will pull us further down to this kind of false breakout 113. We could even see this as low as 40.40. I wouldn't be sad if we saw that, honestly. So if we see the 40.40, let's do some additional measuring here. I don't remember the numbers on this 5.0, so let's see what we get here. Let's go harmonics. Let's just, for grins, let's change the color here to some blue color. Perfect. All right. So the 50 gave us 40.21. That's more than 40.40. So, if we're going to continue down with this shark, this is what I would be interested in seeing. Now, this might not even halfway work out, but in my head, if we can continue down to get the 5.0, this is what I would like to see it look like. We've got this head and shoulders. We might get some rejection here off of the 786. Pull down, kind of test this double bottom, pull through, maybe get a response here, get a push back up, test this 5.0, get some continuation down to this 5, find some respect, get this 618, and then kind of figure out what to do there, if we're going to keep going or if we're going to turn around and come back. Ultimately, I wouldn't be upset if we saw that. If we could get that, get all of those patterns kind of played out and cleaned up, if we didn't continue this pull down to kind of make one of these bigger downward patterns, then maybe we could actually start taking a bit of a move back up. Something along the lines that I've been looking at for the upside, now that I'm over here on SPY now, I would say something like, oh, that's a big old pattern, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. I think that's kind of what. So if we're going to have a major downside move, I'd think something like this, right? We go back to the COVID lows, kind of make our way up, make our way back down. That's a big pull if we do. I mean, that's like you know, recession or really bad economy, but we're not having those problems. We don't. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Banks are good. Nothing bad's going on. No. There's no man behind the curtain. So to get to that C point, if we can get these things that we're talking about here, let's look and see what that gives us here. It's 395.17. That would pull through that trend line. Right, there's a lot of lines here, and I apologize. I'm just trying to do some measurements here. Yeah, that's going to pull us through that trend line. So, I'm going to find some respect there, I would think. Anyway, so let's say we get down, pull through, maybe wick back up, start pushing. How do we get there? Well, there's this longer term bat that's kind of setting up here. Right, this bat here that's kind of setting itself up. So if we can stay above this low, we can not break this low here. Find some respect here, make our way back up, get up in this area here. The next thing kind of make our way up here to this C point. Here we're trying to maybe even get up here and push all-time highs. But it's hard to believe that we would get up to try to meet all-time highs unless something wild happens. Never say never, though. I mean, look at what happened during COVID. So, yeah, and then maybe, make our way back down. This is super long-term, all right? So just keep that in mind. Like, we're talking projected so far out. So, yeah. Let's see what else we have here that I'd been looking at. Let's get rid of this guy here. Yeah, these were other patterns that could have taken us up there. They're just taking way too long. We could still continue up here to get that bat up there as I was talking about, but, it's going to all really depend. There was another one there it's been taking a while. Another shark. And there's definitely a lot of things that could really get us up there. Here's our kind of all-time trend lines here. Yeah, I think that's, as far as that goes, I think that's kind of where my mind is. If we're thinking long term, we're thinking a little more in the present as well. If we go back to this continuous ES. So, and if that fails, if we can't come down, complete this, this Head and Shoulders, this kind of wonky shark that we've got going on here, that's in the spirit of shark, that's in the spirit of Head and Shoulders. If we can't complete that, we can't break this low, and we start finding really solid support down here. Or maybe we even wick through to this 113 and we just turn around and don't stop. I would still be looking for us to kind of somehow make that push to get up a bit higher so we could make that pattern to try to come back down in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, ultimately, I mean, so if we look at what happened with moves just today and then FOMC and all of that, I mean, we really didn't have huge reactions as we might normally. Very interestingly, I don't know if you follow dark pools, but if you do, had a decent amount come in after hours. But a lot of the dark pool activity, and I'm just talking standard dark pool, not like signatures or anything, but it seems the last several days as these dark pool numbers have rolled in, it's really been a nasty splash to the downside. And every time we try to recover from that splash, it just gets slapped down again. We have more prints come in and they just kind of smack it down and they keep swatting it down. So is that to continuously, kind of swat us down, get those splash down, coil us and push us? Well, that's to be seen, right? That's what we have to try to figure out over time. So yeah, I think ultimately that's kind of where my head is. I'm sure there are a million other things. I could get into, some of the volume profile stuff, but I'm not going to do that. So if we want to, I think something I'll start doing over time is start talking about some things that we went through in the room. Yesterday, we had that nice pool. A lot of people in the room caught that pool. There's so many people that are progressing so well, and I'm super proud of these guys. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm super excited for everybody. In a fairly short amount of time, I would say. So, if you guys are watching, I'm super proud of you. I'm super excited to see the progress, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Yeah, outside of that, I think I'm going to call it here. So, any questions or anything, hit me up. You know where to find me. And yeah, see you later.